Hey everybody. So basically, I was just writing in my notebook earlier, and I came up with some good ideas. But today I just want to talk about peyote, and basically I started thinking more about peyote after I read Cosmic Trigger by Robert Anton Wilson, in which he describes it as something which takes practice and that a shaman would need to use in order to really get its full effects. Being a budding shaman myself in the past, currently I'm a full-fledged shaman, in case you weren't aware. As well as, like the writings of D.M. Turner and about mescaline. And, like probably Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas about peyote. But, the first time I had it was like a little bit of an episode of disbelief because, I actually, interestingly enough, I met the occasion with skepticism because it was actually a tincture in which I thought I was taking LSD because, like liquid LSD, obviously you've heard of that. But, however, it made me overwhelmingly nauseous. And that's not very common with LSD. And it actually made me nauseous to the point where once it was really beginning to take effect, maybe 3 hours later, like it reached such a point where I could no longer physically stand the sensations that I was experiencing, and I just felt heavy and like taken aback by the whole thing. And like right as I was about to like give up all hope for this thing ever turning around and like having a good trip, I began to feel like weightlessness and a certain quality of observing events taking place around me in this controlled set and setting where I was at, from an observer's perspective. And there was a certain amount of, like how they say of peyote, if you take it, forget about it. That was the first time. And let's see, from then on I experimented with synthetic mescaline on one other occasion, taken orally, as well as some other assorted phenethylamine compounds. My history is pretty well established as far as drug use goes. I'm pretty open about it. Generally, people don't believe me that I've even taken mescaline because it is so rare. But if you find the right connection, it's one of the ones that you want to do some work with. As far as live plants go, I've never worked with any of those. The next time I had the occasion to take peyote was sold to me as mint. And what I mean by mint was it was in a little plastic container with a lid on it, with a little guy face with an X through one of his eyes and his tongue sticking out. And so that's maybe like an underground symbol for peyote. And basically what happened was it was like this like microdose. So there's a tendency when microdosing for the trip to last longer than with one big exposure. And I don't know what the mechanism behind that is. I don't really understand it, but that's from what I've read with microdosing. It took on an astral quality, let me just say, where like my experience of my wares, my let's just say my lower legs and my lower arms, my upper arms, my upper legs, my hands and feet, lower belly, upper belly, genitals, mouth, eyes. They all took on specific connotations. And, like, there wasn't that, like, big hill effect of, like, coming up on a drug when I microdosed. It was, a gradual disc cleaning. It was, moving in a certain team of programs that were to set certain controls up for cleaning the disc, which was probably, what I mean by that is like my operating system, moving things around, getting rid of old shit that didn't have any use or wasn't necessary anymore. And then, like, installing some new updates on the basic operating system. So therefore it was like something new. And, yeah, it was blue, so that was a little weird. I thought that it might have been some kind of like orally active DMT, but then, come to think of it, I had taken peyote one other time in a tincture like that. Although it wasn't blue that time, this time was like new, and it was a different experience altogether. Do I have any desire to take peyote again? Not necessarily. It has so many moving components to it. If I were to want to take part in any kind of ceremony, obviously apart from recreational use, I would want it to be ayahuasca. I know that there's probably people who are taking peyote to this day, and it's all part of their practice, and it can be part of your practice as well. And nobody dies from it. It will make you sick. It will make you wish that you hadn't taken it, and then right after that, everything will just feel clean and pure, probably. So, those are my thoughts.